Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're doing something a little different. We're getting into a really specific, but I think universally applicable philosophy of life.
Yeah, and our sources here aren't, some ancient philosophical text.
No, not at all. It's actually a set of personal notes and song lyrics. All of it is dedicated to distilling the wisdom of one particular mother.
That's pretty fascinating.
It really is. And our mission today is to unpack these insights, which are called calm in the chaos, and really understand how these simple, everyday moments like making a cup of tea can become these profound teaching moments.
Right, how they build resilience and perspective.
Exactly. This deep dive is, I think, a shortcut to learning how to navigate life with a bit more grace.
And what's so striking right from the beginning is how these sources just completely challenge our idea of what peace is. We tend to think calm means quiet, getting away from it all, a retreat.
Right. Silent.
But this philosophy, it lays out a definition that's, well, it's the opposite. It demands active engagement. It's really a masterclass in how to be fully present in the mess, not how to escape it.
Okay, let's jump right into that then. This idea of active calm. Because the source is so clear, it says calm doesn't mean quiet. So if it's not stillness, what is it? What does this philosophy say true peace actually is?
Well, it breaks it down into three pillars, three interconnected things that create your internal state no matter what's happening outside.
Okay.
So first, you need an open heart, a kind of non-judgmental acceptance. Second, a curious mind, always asking why, always learning from the moment. And then third, and this is the critical one, the courage to laugh mid-chaos.
The courage to laugh. I love that. It takes this whole thing out of the realm of, typical self-help. Why is laughter so important here? Why is it that third pillar?
Because it's a choice. It's an active choice to break the tension. Chaos makes us freeze up or, react emotionally. Laughter, especially when something goes wrong, it stops you from taking the whole situation, or even yourself, too seriously. It's an instant reframe. It basically tells your brain, okay, this is messy, but it's not a disaster.
That reframe is everything, isn't it? And we see that active choice reflected all over the lyrics. You think about the imagery in verse 1. This is not a quiet, still scene.
Not at all.
It's, she's got the kettle humming, bread on the rise. There are tunes in her kitchen, laughter in her eyes. It's a symphony of presence.
That's a perfect way to put it. The calm isn't about emptiness. It's about being purposefully engaged with your senses.
Yeah.
I mean, the bread isn't just baking. It's on the rise. That implies patience. The kitchen is full of life and sound.
Yeah.
This whole philosophy is about shining a light on those simple things most of us just, rush past.
And that has to tie into accepting imperfection, right? Which is where we get that incredible phrase, finding poetry in burnt toast.
Exactly. When you're in a hurry, burnt toast is a failure. It's a ruined breakfast, wasted time.
Ugh, yeah, the worst.
But with this active calm, burnt toast is. Yeah. It's just data. Or maybe it's a funny story, a reminder that life is messy. The poetry is just the ability to see that minor failure and find a little bit of wisdom in it. It shifts your focus from control to story.
So the goal isn't perfection. The lesson is just be present enough to catch the story.
You got it. And that ability to find wisdom in the imperfect, that brings us right to the main event in these sources, the main tool for connection,
The cuppa.
the simple cuppa.
This part is so good, especially for you listening. The notes are so emphatic about this. It says a cuppa is never just a cuppa. It's the entire teaching tool. So tell us about the 4 roles it plays.
Right. So the cuppa is so much more than a drink. The sources say it's this dynamic thing. It can be all at once.
Yeah.
1, an experience just for the sake of sharing time. 2, a therapy session, for real listening.
Okay.
3, a philosophy lecture where you stumble on deep truths. And 4, a lot of the time it's just a giggle fit.
That is a lot of pressure to put on a mug of tea. Let's dig into a couple of those. How does a cup of tea turn into a philosophy lecture?
Well, it's all about the time, the informality. The lyrics mention that these conversations, they often go on for 3 hours.
3 hours.
Yeah, this is the anti-efficiency principle right here.
Yeah.
The teacher in this story, the mother, she's willing to give 3 hours to one conversation. That shows she values the person, the connection, the messy process of discovery more than some neat, quick answer.
The lesson is that the big truths don't come in sound bites.
They unfold over time. And that leads directly to the core guiding principle of the whole thing, the mantra.
Right. This is the phrase that just provides so much relief. She'll smile and say, there's no right or wrong way, just choice in how we play. That phrase, just choice in how we play, that Feels like the foundation for everything else.
It is. It's the ultimate statement of personal agency. I mean, think about how overwhelmed we get by the pressure to make the right choice.
All
This just frees you from that. It shifts the focus away from judging the outcome to just owning the process. It says, sure, the world has rules and constraints, but your response, how you choose to play, that's always yours.
I have to ask a critical question there, though. Does it talk about the limits of that? I mean, when things are genuinely restrictive, how does this philosophy hold up?
That's a great question. And it addresses it by turning the focus inward. The choice isn't always about the outcome. Sometimes the only choice you have left is your attitude. It goes right back to those pillars of calm.
Yeah.
You can still choose an open heart. You can choose a curious mind, even if you can't choose the situation. The real game is the internal one, the perspective game.
The internal game. That is so powerful. And it makes you wonder, if the core is all internal, how does that actually show up in the real world and how you treat other people? That's what verse 2 gets into.
It is. This is about applying that internal calm externally.
Yeah.
Look at how she will chat up a stranger at the corner cafe. And she doesn't do small talk. She goes right for the big stuff, asking what lights them up and what gets in their way.
That's like curiosity as a tool for connection. It takes a lot of confidence to do that and a really open heart. You're looking for someone's story, not just to pass the time.
And that same resilience shows up when she's facing her own problems. You get that classic image. She walks through storms with her head held high. But there's a key addition here. She's committed to finding the light inside the storm. She still finds silver in a cloudy sky.
So it's not just blind optimism. It's an active search, a disciplined practice of reframing.
Absolutely. It's an intellectual thing. It's saying, okay, the storm is real, this is hard, but the lesson, the silver lining, it's also here if I choose to look for it. It just rejects that black and white good or bad view of things.
And then internally, she applies that same choice by just rejecting all the cultural pressures. She don't chase perfect. She don't wear masks.
This is such a huge takeaway for anyone listening. I mean, we are constantly told to be perfect, to be curated.
Especially online.
Oh, absolutely. This philosophy says authenticity, not perfection, is the real path to calm. When you stop wearing masks, you free up all this energy you were using to maintain a persona, and then you have time for those 3-hour cuppas.
Or for finding poetry in burnt toast.
Exactly.
So what's the daily tool here? What does she do when the chaos actually hits, when the plan falls apart?
The question. She asks herself a question. Can you find some joy in this mess today? It's a whole system for dealing with pressure in one sentence. You're not asking how to fix it or whose fault it is.
Right.
You're shifting from control and blame to perspective and presence.
It sounds so simple, but to actually choose joy when you're frustrated, that takes real discipline.
It does. It takes practice. Which brings us right into active calm. You practice having that open heart and curious mind, so when the mess happens, your default isn't panic. It's curiosity.
So zooming out to the big picture, the bridge and the final chorus really summarize her impact. She's described with this beautiful duality, soft like sunlight, strong like June.
A combination of warmth and reliability. Yeah, and the synthesis is key to her role as a teacher. The lyrics say she's the calm in the chaos, hard on display, which is that emotional availability. But then it adds, she's both the anchor and wind that show me the way.
The anchor and the wind. Let's unpack that paradox. An anchor holds you still, the wind pushes you forward. How can you be both?
Well, to be an anchor is to provide that deep emotional safety, that stability someone needs to feel grounded, especially when their own life is chaotic.
Okay, so that makes sense.
And to be the wind is to provide the inspiration, the gentle push, the permission to go explore and not be afraid to fail. She offers the grounding you need in order to take flight.
And when the world just gets to be too much, the final gift she gives is just permission.
Yes. The ultimate act of trust. Let it all go, it'll sort out fine. That's the end result of living this way. It's a deep trust that the things will find their own order, like the bread rising or the storm passing.
And I think the ultimate takeaway for you listening is that it rejects this modern idea of success. Life's not a race to run. It's not about frantically getting to a finish line.
No, it replaces all that goal-oriented stress with process-oriented satisfaction. A good day gets defined in a much simpler way.
It's coffee, connection, and a bit of fun. It sounds so simple, but it's so hard to do when we're all conditioned to be efficient. So to quickly recap for you, we learned that calm is an active state. It needs curiosity, engagement, and the courage to laugh. We saw how the deepest learning can happen in unoptimized time, disguised as a cup of tea. And the guiding principle through it all is choice, not in the outcome, but in how we play.
So if life is defined by choice in how we play, here's a final thought for you to take with you. Think about a simple chaotic moment from your day. Something that went wrong, a tech glitch, a small mistake.
The burnt toast.
The burnt toast moment. Could you treat that moment not as a problem to be fixed, but as an opportunity for poetry? How can you actively choose connection or curiosity or just a little bit of fun over the feeling that you're trapped in some never-ending race?
That's a great challenge. To embrace the poetry in the mess, it's something we can all work on. We hope this deep dive into calm in the chaos gives you a new way to look at your own messes. We'll see you next time.